Welcome back, brothers, tourists, and ladies, to another episode of the Chapter House, the Old Glory Club's look into the minds, men, and chapters that make up the Old Glory Club. Joining us this week is the Mingo Creek Society out of Pittsburgh, and joining us to represent the great city of Pittsburgh and surrounding area is Al. How are you, Al?
Doing great. How are you?
Doing stupendously. So we are actually speaking to the resurrected, disembodied voice of Albert Dallison, who was apparently a very important person for reasons that we may get into later. And Mike, how are you, sir?
I'm good. I'm good. Thanks for asking.
And this is actually Mike, and he is an astronaut. Make no mistake. Well, welcome, guys. Anybody who knows me knows that Pittsburgh is my favorite city. It is a little known fact that it is the whitest major city per capita in the United States, if that still holds true. I guess we should keep that a secret, but let's be honest. Only our guys listen to this. So, are you guys from the Dallas area personally? Pittsburgh
Yeah,
area?
yeah. I've had family in the city going back 6 generations now, and yeah, I've been here my whole life. So
Same here.
Yeah, that's great. I mean, it for those who aren't familiar with the geography, it sits in a little valley at the intersection of what is it, the Ohio and a completely unpronounceable river.
it's there are three of them. It's the Ohio, the Monongahela, and the Allegheny.
There we go, the Monongahela. Is that how you that's yeah, I've never even
Say that
really tried it, but it
backwards
is a
5 times fast.
is that how you become the mayor of Pittsburgh?
No, you actually become the mayor of Pittsburgh by tweeting while you merge across several lanes on the Fort Pitt Bridge. So.
That's awesome. I'm sure there's some lore there. But yeah, Pittsburgh, old mining town. Tell me what Mingo Creek is, because the word Mingo, it's not good in the mouth. I don't like saying Mingo, but MCS, it does roll off the tongue. So what is the Mingo Creek?
So the Mingo Creek Society was they were the primary group behind the Whiskey Rebellion, which was it was started in Southwest Pennsylvania here. They were the let's call it populist branch of the Whiskey Rebellion. They were the local workers meeting in churches and taverns, planning the Whiskey Rebellion.
So
And
anybody who's not familiar with the Whiskey Rebellion should check out Clossington's excellent Substack on the Old Glory Club Substack. But for the uninitiated, why is it called the Whiskey Rebellion?
So back shortly after the Revolution, the settlers in Pittsburgh only had one primary way of making their money, and that was by making whiskey, hauling it across the state to Philadelphia, um, uh, usually on wagon, and selling it. It was a relatively low margin business because it was expensive getting out to Philly and back then. Not a lot of developed infrastructure. So when the tax was put in place shortly after the rebellion, it was one of the taxes Washington put in place to try and fund the revolution after the fact. But the tax on whiskey uh, basically erased any possible profit margin. So it threatened to destroy the really only major industry in the then small town of Pittsburgh. Um, which is why the locals rose up to try and get it abolished. Ended up troops marching under Alexander Hamilton to put down that rebellion.
So what? They couldn't just raise their prices, or were they get cornered out by everyone else?
Well, so the reason they could make their money is because they were able to. Now, Klaus is the expert on this, so I am just kind of reiterating what he said in his article. But I believe the story is that they could make the whiskey cheaper, enough cheaper that they could trade it on margin out east, even with the cost of getting out there. So, yeah.
Well, I mean, that's a fine piece of American heritage. Everyone knows that the founders were notorious booze hounds. So I don't see any reason why Pittsburgh couldn't partake in that. I mean, since then, Pittsburgh was known as the Steel City, right? A lot of steel workers in Pittsburgh. What do you know anything about the history of that?
Yeah. So Pittsburgh became known as the Steel City, largely due to Andrew Carnegie. He founded U.S. Steel and based it out of Pittsburgh. It was a great place for steel. Being at the confluence of the rivers, you could ship the iron ore and the coal into the city, manufacture the steel, and then ship it downriver wherever it needed to go. The steel industry in Pittsburgh has a fascinating history. Basically, half the stuff in the city is named either after Andrew Carnegie or a guy named Henry Fripp, who was like Carnegie's enforcer. There's a park that we've done a couple hikes in with the MCS guys called Frick Park, named after him. It's right by his mansion. He did a lot of philanthropy to found it, in the city to fund it, to make up for some of the more dastardly things he did in his life. For example, he was the guy who called in the Pinkertons to the Homestead strike, and shot a bunch of union workers. Frick was the guy who caused the Johnstown flood, which is the natural disaster that single-handedly led to the creation of the Red Cross. Basically, what he did was there was this big earthenwork dam on his private country club, and it was not wide enough for him to take the top of the dam was not wide enough to take his carriage across it. So he ordered the dam lowered so that the top would be wider and he could take his carriage across. And as a result of that, the dam broke and completely destroyed the entire city of Johnstown, which was a relatively major industrial city at the time. So,
yeah, I mean, let's be honest. Johnstown, I've been there a couple of times too, and it's sitting right in the bottom of like a pretty steep valley, and they get flooded out every couple decades. So, was it really Thrift's fault, or were they just asking for it being situated down there?
well, it was it was a dam break. So, it's funny. There's a museum to the flood in there, and my dad, being the history buff he took us to every museum in a 45 minute radius of the city, and it's the most boring experience I ever had as an 8-year-old going to this thing. And there's a video, and there's a like recreation of the train racing down the track just ahead of the flood to try and warn the citizens of Johnstown. The water was moving about as fast as the train, so it didn't really make it in time to do much good. So.
Well, that's a bummer. At least Frick made up for it by opening a park. Good for him.
And now his mansion is another museum and a car museum. So, if you want to come visit the city, you can go see the man who flooded Johnstown's wonderful collection of art. So
I know a bunch of people died in those floods, so yeah, I don't know if a car museum is quite enough, but you guys aren't just in Pittsburgh, you're in the surrounding areas, and you guys have some people from the infamous Butler, Pennsylvania. Is this correct?
Yes, that is.
Yep. Al here is actually from Butler.
Yeah. I know several people who were at the rally when Trump was shot. And yeah, just really affected the community. We lost one of our own, the firefighter, Corey Comparator. And yet Clossington had a great article, and I think it rings true. Let me pull it up. It was titled, "They Hit His Ear but Aimed for Your Heart." And now we're about a year into the Trump administration following that. And yeah, we want to see what we have to show for all of that and him surviving. And yeah, we want to see where we're going forward. So
Yeah, I mean, at this point, the assassination attempt is kind of old news, and we've really heard absolutely nothing outside of what Tucker Carlson was able to put together on the shooter's social media presence, which is, well, it's suspicious. But does knowing people who were there kind of shed any light on it? Or, I mean, I imagine they're just spectators, but was there, like, could you go into like what their experience of it was?
Let's see, like, what I can say. I guess really, like, the spectators do not have like any, like, beyond, like, you have a lot of the same speculation for someone who's there, just as with anyone seeing things on the internet. I know, you remember at the time there was people calling out like, hey, what's this person doing up here, things like that. And I know, like, the response was slow. The coordination between is it the Secret Service and like local police, like the Secret Service was not coordinating well with local authorities.
Yeah, it's worth remembering too that a lot of the evidence we got after the shooting actually came from local Butler PD and not Secret Service. It was kind of remarkable how badly they dropped the ball there. The Secret Service, that is.
So in a lot of these like more higher profile things, you'll find that people investigating the crime from the local police end up going missing. Has that happened to any of the investigators from Butler?
None that I'm aware of.
Yeah, I haven't heard anything like that.
All right. Well, yeah. I mean, that's good. It's it hasn't happened yet.
Yeah, not exactly a Clinton type of case.
Oh, right. So yeah, you mentioned, Al, that it's been a year in, and I'm one of those people who believes in Providence and believes that that day we witnessed the hand of Providence sparing Trump from being taken out by the assassin's bullet. And of course, you said the question is, like, what have we gotten for that? I'm just curious as to what your, like, since we're on the topic, what your guys' opinion of that is.
I'm torn. I think it's easy to be disappointed with the second Trump administration, and in some ways we all are. But it is. I came of age politically during, the Romney-Obama election, and looking back on that and how far we've come, sometimes I do feel like a little perspective is necessary when it comes to Trump too. So,
Yeah, I agree.
Yeah, so we're getting as the chapter house kind of moves along with the guests on. We went from First Incorporated and to the current one, which at this pace means we're never actually going to catch up, which is great. It means, unfortunately, that you might not ever be on here again. I'm joking, but well, you guys are how old? Like 5 months or so?
we incorporated officially in April of this year. So what's that? Make us 9 months old.
Yeah, okay, so a little bit older than I thought, but still after the assassination attempt. Uh, would you say that that was a kind of a polarizing like moment that obviously for the country it was, but was it one that helped bring the Mingo Creek Society together, or was that kind of already in the works before then?
Um, I actually think that event predated even kind of the early talks for Mingo Creek Society. I don't. We didn't. We had our first like meetup as a group in November of last year. So it was shortly after the election, and I think that was more of a catalyst. Everybody was kind of very high energy at that point, right? Just coming off the election win, and I think that was a big push for that got the organization up and running. So,
I think like one
Well,
of the questions that we kind of have is I was trying to think, like counting on someone else to save you versus building something for yourself and your own community and network and family. And yeah, I think I do see, like, as a general trend, more interest in the chapters anytime, like, say, like after the Charlie Kirk shooting, like people, and I think maybe like in the back of our minds after the Trump shooting, like, the idea of this becoming a thing might have been in the back of our minds. But yeah, I think that momentum boost of Trump winning kind of brought it to action.
I will say though,
well, that's good.
yeah,
Go ahead, Mike.
as things have kind of died down and people are less you know plan trusting. We've seen a pickup in people looking to join, and I do think that speaks to the motivation that people in our sphere have, regardless of you know people coming to save us, politicians at the top, and how effective they're being. So.
Yeah, I was going to say it's good to hear that the high of the election win was kind of what got you guys over the finish line for incorporation, because anyone looking to incorporate who is not already a part of a chapter, it does take a little bit of work and dealing with official state paperwork, which whenever you're dealing with a bureaucracy, it's not what I would choose my Saturday to do, but. Yeah, so that positive energy got you across the finish line. But like you were also saying, it's kind of this we're all hopeful that you know all right, Trump won, maybe he didn't get as much done as we wanted because he was hindered by stuff. Well, now he's got the second chance. He knows what's going on. All the the rationalizations, maybe this time he can get it done. And I think that you're right to say that when we feel like there really isn't anyone going to save us, it really lets us, and when I say us, I don't just mean people in the Old Glory Club, I mean people who know what time it is, know that we have to kind of do something to weather this civilizational storm. Um, as any listener would know, the Old Glory Club was formed during the dark days of the Biden administration, when things seemed pretty bleak indeed. So, yeah, I think there's definitely something to as the situation continues to degrade in the country, people realizing that they're going to have to, pick themselves up and get it done. Actually, to that effect, what is the age demographic of the Mingo Creek Society at this moment?
So it's quite broad. Our youngest member is our vice president. I believe he is 23, 22, something like that. Our oldest member is oh, in his late 40s, I believe, early 50s. So we got quite a spectrum of people. Although most of us are right around are in our late 20s. So
Okay, so you've got you said the majority of your membership is late millennial. Is that about accurate?
yeah, yeah. Like I was born in '96. That's the a lot of us are right around where I am. So
Yeah. In my case, I'd be a young Zoomer, so, or I guess an old Zoomer. Yeah. Just before 2000, so.
Oh yeah, really early Zoomer. Okay, yeah, yeah. So, I mean, that kind of tracks with what the Old Glory Club seems to be, um, you know, uh, at like right now across the board, which I think makes sense. When you're younger, you might not be as politically aware as you are when you get older. When I say might not be, I mean for the vast majority of people, that's the case. So your young 20s guys are way ahead of the curve generationally. But for the balance of the people you have in it, do you find that I mean, obviously the young guys are trying to get themselves established as men, but what kind of energy do they bring to the organization that might not otherwise be there?
um, you know, it's funny that there's um, a lot of us are pretty young, but wide spectrum of places in our lives. But the ener- everybody is just really excited to be a part of something like this. It's really it's fun. Don't get me wrong, we have a ton of fun, but also it feels important what we're doing, and I think that everybody in the organization brings a lot of energy because they feel that. So
I in preparation for this, I was listening to one of the previous chapter houses, and I think it was the Cascade Frontier. It was really encouraging to hear what they were saying, in terms of, and it sounds like they're a little bit more developed than us. So we might take a few insights just from what they were talking about, um, in terms of uh, like personal and career development, things along those lines. It sounds like they have like accountability, like encouraging people to like get something done uh, this week. Like, what do you have to show for yourself in terms of your development and improvement in life?
Yeah, and that's really the aim of the Old Glory Club in general. Um, and the point of the chapter house. I'm glad that you were able to pull something from an earlier episode. So, dear listener, if this is your first chapter house, please do listen to them all. There's only like, what are we on? 16? That's only 16 hours of content. I know, and you know,
something
and
like that.
you know that I know that you spend more time listening to meaningless bullshit on your other podcasts. So you can fit 16 hours in for catching up. But actually, I had a question for you guys about I'm being corrected. This is actually number 20. So 20 hours. What's four more in the face of that? 1/5 more. Come on, you can do that. Anyway, you guys mentioned that you have a lot of fun, which is good. I mean, it's we're here to learn from each other and build brotherhood, and brotherhood can't be boring. So, what kind of activities does the MCS get into?
Uh, so when it was warmer, we've gone on several hikes. It's like hikes a good way to you know make sure people are able to keep up and with everything. But we've done bowling, we've done park cleanups where we'll go and we'll pick trash, we'll get big pick up trash from local parks, try and clean up our community a little bit. We've last meetup we did, we went to a driving range and rented out a couple bays and had about 15 people show up, and that was a lot of fun. So.
All right, yeah, that's good. I mean, the New England guys, part of their initiation is a an arduous hike, on which every time somebody is sure to vomit. Have you is do you guys have like I know that that area has some pretty decent mountains. Do you guys push the newbies and make sure that they can do a ruck, or is it more a leisurely thing?
It's somewhere in between. We're not wrecking, but we've done a couple 7, 8 mile hikes, and those can be fun.
Well, that's pretty solid. So, in terms of future plans for the organization, I mean, we're this is a refrain that regular listeners hear all the time. We're a brotherhood. The whole idea is to build out this network of like minds who can rely on each other. But actually, before we get to the future plans thing, do you guys have any interaction with the Ohio boys?
I would honestly no, we haven't had a ton of interaction with the Ohio boys. We've had more interaction with the Central PA and Philly chapters um, uh, of the OGC. Right around shortly after our formation was the Gettysburg event that the Philly guys host, and we had a bunch of Mingo Creek Society people out there, and great time. Highly recommend for next year for anybody who can make it out. So
Yeah, are there any thoughts of putting together anything out in Pittsburgh area? I mean, I'd love to see. You've got two chapters bordering you, three if upstate New York counts. Um, I don't know how many guys they have on the western part of upstate New York, but uh, yeah, what about like I don't know, a regional paintball league or something?
it's something we've talked about. It's something we'd definitely be interested in doing. In some ways, we're still working on getting our feet under us, and think we're really starting to settle into things. But it's something we've got some ideas brewing on hosting a Pittsburgh event for the broader OTC. So
Yeah, I mean, like I was saying, Pittsburgh's a beautiful spot, so I would definitely encourage the Campus Martius guys as well as the other the other Pennsylvania chapters to get their asses out there. It's way prettier than Philly, so I mean, I guess that's not too hard to achieve, but sorry, Delaware Crossing boys, it's just not doing it for me. So, what do you guys tell us about Pittsburgh a little bit? We talked about the steel. What's going on there now? Is it still the whitest per capita major city?
I mean, it's a low bar, but yeah, it is. It's interesting. I've we've talked about it at some of our meetups. In some ways, Pittsburgh feels I mean, not untouched by the broader, great awakening, but it feels less affected um, than than some of the other areas you might see. I'm currently living, less than 5 miles away from the house I grew up in, and it's it's the same. It's demographics have not undergone a great change. There's not been a big influx of people. Most of the people that are around are from the area, but at the same time, um, it's not your typical story of your Rust Belt city where there's no opportunity. No, things are kind of falling apart. The church I go to every week has hundreds of people in the pews, and most of them are young families with kids. So it's I don't want to sell it as it's a cold, damp, wet town where it rains 90% of the time, but it is in some ways untouched by not untouched, but less affected by the broader malaise that a lot of places find themselves affected by modernity. So
Yeah, I seem to remember over COVID, there was a viral video of a dude shooting his neighbors over a dispute with moving snow. And I was surprised to see that everybody involved was white. But once I realized that, I was not surprised to find out that it was in Philly, or I'm sorry, that it was in Pittsburgh, which is very, very snowy and a little bit rough around the edges. I mean, you said it was largely untouched by woke. Correct me if I'm wrong, but didn't the star player of the Steelers survive getting the nickname Raper's Burger at the height of the Me Too thing?
oh, he actually he that happened kind of before all the Me Too stuff. He Roethlisberger, yeah, he got in this motorcycle accident, and then he got accused of falling a woman into a public restroom stall. Yeah, and he came out relatively unscathed. Honestly, if you hadn't brought it up, I would have completely forgot that happened. So
Well, I mean, so the way you tell the story, I'm now imagining that, this very large man gets in a motorcycle accident, stumbles into a bar, and then follows a woman into the bathroom.
separate incidents, I think. Although again, I was pretty young at the time, so I don't really remember. I just yeah, he what ended up killing his career in Pittsburgh was being bad at football. Or I mean, it's not fair. He had a great rookie. He had a great 5 years of his first 5 years of his career, but yeah, he got old, started getting hurt all the time. That's what really pissed people in Pittsburgh off. So,
Yeah, I mean, many such cases. I seem to remember, I don't know if it was the late noughts or early tens that it was the Steelers versus the Patriots in the Super Bowl, and all the Steelers fans were very, very disappointed.
we had a couple good years in late aughts though, back to back Super Bowls. It was a good time to be a Steelers fan. Not like now, where not so much.
So you wouldn't say that our guys should move to Pittsburgh for the sports teams, except maybe where you guys got the Penguins?
Yeah, Penguins, Pirates. Some years were good, some years were not. Except the Pirates, they're never good. Beautiful
Yep.
stadium, always empty. You want to see a major league ball game for $12? The Pirates are your team. So
Well, there you go. So that might be a draw for some people, but would you say that it's a place worth moving to for a young chud family looking for somewhere to settle down?
yeah, I've got two young kids of my own, and yeah, it's very family friendly town. It lots of kids for the for the size of the city, more kids than you'd expect, and relatively cheap, lots of opportunity. It's a good place for young families to look for opportunity, and of course, for me, it has the benefit of also being home. So.
Yeah, most
So
of
what count? Go ahead, Al.
Thanks. Yeah, most of the young guys I talk to, it's like that they're able to get like solid professional careers, and that's in the white collar space as well as in the blue collar space. Like whether it be like working in steel or whatever, like people were able to find jobs here. So.
I mean, that is really interesting. I know in the late 80s, most of the steel mills started closing down. That kind of led to a mass exodus out of the city. And you're saying, I mean, obviously it's since recovered and found its industry elsewhere.
Yeah, so Pittsburgh leaned hard into meds and eds. It's got one of the best medical systems and five major universities downtown, and it leaned heavily into that in the 80s and 90s to kind of keep the city afloat. Um, which is not an amazing economy for a city to have long term, but um, it's allowed for some major corporations to stay in the area and allow it to be relatively healthy economically, at least in Allegheny County. There are some old steel towns out a little bit further from the city that are struggling after a lot of the steel mills left the city.
So I know that there's well, what county is Pittsburgh in?
Pittsburgh's in Allegheny County.
All right. And
yeah,
Beaver County is very close. Is this correct?
yeah, it borders Allegheny County.
Yeah. So,
Pittsburgh, yeah.
Sorry, I was just going to say that Jay Burden's fans, if they really want to commit to the bit, that's a great place to end up.
Yeah, there's I think it's a cracker factory going in Beaver, so all the chuds can line up to work at the new cracker factory in Beaver County. So.
I mean, that's based. How do they manufacture crackers? Do they just sit white guys down in front of like FBI crime statistics, or?
I think that's what it is. Yeah. Oh.
Very, very based. You're going to need a lot of power for that.
Yeah, Beaver's a nice place to live for sure. Yeah, natural gas industry is pretty strong there.
So Pittsburgh's politics. You said that there's a lot of universities and hospitals there, and those people tend to be rather up their own ass with their shitlib politics. But it sounds like they haven't quite been managed to ruin the city yet. Why do you think that is?
Lots of ethnic enclaves. Oh, I say that somewhat facetiously, but the city is it kind of isolates itself into neighborhoods. So like if you go to Oakland, where Pitt and Driscoll and Carnegie Mellon are, it's pride flags everywhere. You're very, very woke, but it's because of each neighborhood is almost its own entity in some ways, especially in the city proper. And that kind of stops that stuff from just overflowing and taking over the whole city. That and the Democrat Party in Pittsburgh is the dominant party in Allegheny County broadly and in Pittsburgh specifically, but it's a very blue collar union Democrat party as opposed to your, you know, East Coast University Democratic Party. So
Does this mean that it tends to be a little bit more blue collar, like union guys, or is it like how do they outweigh the students?
I'll give you an example. John Fetterman is from Western Pennsylvania. He
I mean, I wouldn't say that too loud. We were trying to talk about how great Pittsburgh is.
the ogre himself, many things, but he is not an East Coast academic by any stretch of the imagination. So,
Well, I suppose there's no arguing with that. So what, like, I know that you guys have, and this is more like statewide, you guys are saddled with Governor Shapiro, who everyone speculates is going to be trying for the presidency in 2028. How has it been under his Shabbat yoke?
The problem with Pennsylvania is Philadelphia. That's the problem with Pennsylvania. There's an old joke about Pennsylvania that you've got Philly in the east, Pittsburgh in the west, and Kentucky in between. There's even a nickname for rural Pennsylvania called Pennsyltucky. Rural Pennsylvania is some of the most conservative area you'll ever go. And I'm sure when you talk to the Central PA guys, they'll tell you that. But Philly, both due to its large population and incredible willingness to commit voter fraud, has a large hold over Pennsylvania politics. Fortunately, because of the way our House and Senate are set up, Republicans usually have control of at least one house, either the House or the state House or the state Senate, which stops it from being, you know, New York or New Jersey or Maryland. So,
Well, I'm glad to know that you guys are holding on. Um, do you guys have any? I know that the Central PA guys are going to talk quite a bit about the Amish. Do you guys have any Amish in the western part of the state?
not really. There are the ones out in Lancaster by Philly and in Central PA, and then there are a bunch of Amish in Eastern Ohio, actually. So those guys should be able to talk about it too. But there aren't many Amish guys in the Pittsburgh
Yeah.
area.
There's some like up in New Wilmington, kind of Valant area, but yeah, not nearly the large population in comparison you get out in coastal Lancaster.
Yeah, the Campus Martius guys actually didn't mention the Amish to my recollection, but I don't know. Maybe they did. I personally love the Amish for their barn raising abilities and their give no fucks attitude. But do you guys have any of those awesome like little Amish? I don't know. On the weekends they put up like they make food and all their little wares and all that.
If you drive out to Ohio, about 90 minutes from here, they do that, and they'll sell you really nice furniture for way less than you can get it anywhere else. Interestingly enough, East Palestine, which is right on the Pennsylvania Ohio border, had some effect on Amish communities. It was they were slightly downstream of where that big train accident happened. So.
Yeah, I mean that kind of seems, in hindsight, a drop in the bucket for the blunder and tragedy and evil that we've been dealing with. It feels like forever. But I guess none of us have really been alive that long. So did anyone in the Pittsburgh area end up mutating from the rain resultant from that accident?
No, fortunately, we're upstream of it, but you did see a bunch of properties in that area go up for sale not too long after it. Um, I remember when it happened. I thought it was a testament to the powers of localism and the limitations thereof. Because I think we can all agree that nobody does localism as well as the Amish do, and ultimately it wasn't enough to protect them from the broader world because until 2024 they had largely removed themselves from larger politics. So.
Yeah, I mean, that is actually an interesting thing to contemplate. You can try to cut yourself off from federal politics as much as possible, but it only takes one, you know, trans-state railroad going through your town to remind you can't really get away from that. But was there anything else that you guys wanted to like specifically hit before we started wrapping things up here?
Nothing else
All
I can
right.
think of.
No, nothing on my end either.
Yeah, great. So we'll keep an eye on you guys to see when you start putting things together. Um, when you guys were putting the chapter together, about how long does it take the signatories to get together and decide to put their names to paper? I know that in the major cities it tends to be a little bit more slower going.
It took us about 6 months from first getting together and talking to each other to actually sitting down and filling out the paperwork and getting everything submitted. Um, so
Was that due to hesitation on the part of like the signatories, or was it more of just it just had its own pace kind of thing?
you know, uh, brotherhood's the point of the old glory club, right? You can't really call yourself brothers with people you met yesterday, right? Part of it is actually building the relationships out and making sure that the people are trustworthy, reliable, competent people who you would like to be associated with. And that's hard to figure out in a week, you know.
Yeah, amen to that. Al, were you around for the founding, or did you filter in a little later?
Yeah, I was around, and yeah, I agree with what Mike said. Yeah, meeting like a few times and um, developing those relationships and that brotherhood and things kind of growing organically. I think when we finally did decide um, to sign paperwork and become official, it felt like a good pace, like kind of organically, as you were saying, as that second option at the beginning.
Yeah, so I usually ask this of all the chapters. Sometimes we're too wrapped up in whatever autistic thing they want to go off on, but if you guys had any issues that you ran into when you were building the chapter or getting people together to do things, or any hurdles that you will overcome that you could pull a piece of advice out for your brothers and other chapters, what would it be?
Um, I would just say that scheduling, especially at the beginning, could be difficult. We're all very busy guys with busy lives, and my advice on that front would be just the further in advance you plan things, the more likely people are to be able to make it, and that uh, a little bit of flexibility can go a long way. So.
I guess
Al,
my
what you
advice, yeah, my advice, just with my own experience with the club as well as just in general, is get off of X or Twitter and get focused. Start getting the work done, and you might be surprised how much time and how many things you can achieve just by taking action.
The internet is
Yeah.
the internet, and it's not real life. Get out, meet people, touch grass, do something.
Yeah, based the Mingo Creek Society guys. So we'll hit the super chats real quick, and then we'll wrap it up. Christopher Burks 458 for $2 sends us his customary salute. Well, salute to you, sir. Dawn Browning back with a different username than I'm used to seeing. The FM Dawn Browning Hoyt. I'm not quite sure why she's yelling at us, but either way, she sends us 10 Australian dollars with a super sticker of an anthropomorphic pear wearing a cape and a headband flying through the air in a Superman pose. I don't know if pears have anything to do with Pittsburgh, but Man of Steel. All right, very apropos as always, Dawn Browning. Thank you very much. All right, guys, for the Mingo Creek Society, do you guys have a Twitter, a Substack? Is there any way that they could find anyone could find any of your work?
Yeah, there is a Mingo Creek Society Twitter. It's, I believe, at Mingo Creek Society.
I believe.
Oh, I think we. Okay. Yeah, I think we lost Mike right there. You still with us, Mike?
Okay, I'll finish what he was saying. The
Yep.
Pit Chapter OGC is the Twitter ad, but the name, PITTCHAP OGC. But if you type in Mingo Creek Society, it'll also show up.
Okay, so the @ is different than the profile handle, but it'll show up if you look for Mingo Creek Society. Is that the best way that potential applicants can get a hold of you guys?
There's that, and we are also. Let me check what it is. Check our email real quick. I believe it is. And we're recently switching platforms, is why I have to check. And apologies for the delay. Okay, Mingo Creek Society, no punctuation or anything, at proton.me.
Wonderful, and it's secure. Look at that, guys. So thank you, Mike, and thank you, Al, and thank you, Mingo Creek Society. Keep in mind, Pittsburgh's where it's at, boys. So get down there, get talking to the Mingo Creek guys. Next week, joining us is the Bluestone Heritage League out of Northern Virginia. We already had the first Virginia chapter on, so now it's the one that is a bit closer to DC. Be sure to tune into Pony Express Radio, which is back this week, tomorrow at 8 p.m. on the usual place, and American Spirits every Monday at 8 p.m. For everything you need to know about what it is to be an American. Remember, take your nicotine, be a bad boy, join the Old Glory Club for the Chapter House.